Hi, Leo Sun and Rising. Welcome to your August 2025 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So, August is Leo season for the first 3 weeks of the month. This is a month, as I compile these transits, that I realize it's a lot less eventful on paper because there aren't as many major transits as there have been in recent months. However, you could call this the beginning of eclipse season because eclipses are going to occur in September, and there may be this kind of preview, or that might be when you actually experience some kind of life altering events occurring for you. But I'm going to hold off on talking about the eclipses until September when they're actually occurring and just stick to the August transits. And just to set the stage here, we come into August with a Mercury retrograde in your sign. Mercury will still be in retrograde through the 11th of the month. And that's when it goes direct at 4 degrees of Leo. So for Leo individuals, whether this is your sun or ascendant, you may feel like your life is on hold in one way, shape, or form. Like plans, just in a very general sense, because this is affecting your first house, are up in the air to some degree. But I just want you to know that not only does Mercury go direct on the 11th, but it comes out of its shadow, I think, around the 26th of the month. So that should be when you see things settle down and are easier to make decisions on. And the other thing that I want to mention is that Venus and Jupiter, which are considered benefic planets, are, kind of like the Santa Claus planets. Both of them can connect with money, but certainly good vibes. They are in Cancer, and this is your 12th house. And Venus will go into your sign this month, but Jupiter will remain in Cancer, and the 12th house can relate to things behind the scenes. So one thing that could be true for Leos, knowing how creative Leos are, is that you could be working on some kind of artistic project behind the scenes that you are going to debut at a later date. And for whatever reason, you want to kind of keep it close to the vest. This could be some kind of, with Venus specifically, this could be some kind of love situation that you are not really going to share with people just quite yet. And maybe you've been kind of, when I say hiding it, I don't mean it out of any kind of for any negative reasons, but you're just kind of being private about a person that is special to you, that you have romantic feelings for. And Jupiter here, and of course this is going to be true for not just this month, but for the whole, for the next 12 months, Jupiter in the 12th can be like kind of that secret protection, because the 12th house can be hidden enemies, and doesn't have to be too, intense. Just people who are working at odds with you, and Jupiter can help with that. But the 12th house can be past life karma, and Jupiter can give you some karma of a good variety where, you are receiving something, maybe it's even monetarily, due to how you were in another life, the, good, you get like rewarded for that. And I feel like this could be a particularly good time for that with Venus. Both of these planets are connected to money. It can be great for any kind of retreat that you go on because Venus can be about being, taking pleasure in something, and the 12th house is solitude, and Jupiter can be philosophical and even related to long distance travel. So that could, 12th house has that connection. Jupiter's the ancient ruler of Pisces. So all those ninth house attributes that we connect with Jupiter, because Jupiter rules the ninth, we can look to the 12th as well with those kinds of things. On the 6th of the month, Mars goes into Libra. This is your third house, Leo, and this can indicate some kind of push or sense of urgency, extra energy poured into the area of communication. So, yes, it could have something to do with Venus in the 12th house. If you've been working on some kind of blog or YouTube channel, and maybe you didn't want to tell anybody because you didn't want to get people's unsolicited opinions and stuff like that, this could be you pouring your energy into it, and there's just some kind of desire to communicate that is especially strong now. Write that book. Also, this is the house of teaching and learning. So this August, at least in the United States, is when, this can, a lot of times is when school begins for the new year. Don't get me started, because when I was a kid, it was after Labor Day, which makes a lot more sense, which is the first Monday in September. But in any case, so you might be actively pursuing some kind of a teaching job if that's what you do. And the other thing that this can involve are siblings. This is also the house of neighbors, the third house, local area. So Mars sometimes can be contentious. There might be some friction between you, or drama between you and neighbors, or you and your siblings. And Mars, because it's that god of war, you might be on the war path for some reason. Might be for a good cause sometimes. Or you might be in the right. You might have a good reason to be upset about somebody doing something. But because you're a fire sign, Leo, you have to still chill, because you have a tendency to be very passionate, but maybe very loud. So anyway, or you could simply be just more active with siblings. Maybe you're doing stuff. I notice in August that people tend to take their vacations, like they might procrastinate, and then they're like, oh, damn, we got to take our vacation. So maybe you're doing that with your children and your siblings' children. On the 9th, we have a full moon at 17 degrees of Aquarius. This is your opposite sign and opposite house, Leo. So this is the house of committed partnership. And this could definitely bring up issues just by virtue of Aquarius, of freedom, autonomy, individuality. Aquarius doesn't like to do things by the book. You just happen to have it in your house of relationships. And it's a fixed sign, just like your sign. So there's a stubborn quality to it. If you feel that you are the one that wants freedom, if you're with somebody who is very controlling, then this can really accentuate that. I also am focusing on the 17. I think it's very, what would you call it? Synchronistic, or there's serendipitous, because in the tarot, the star card is numbered 17, and it is about, that's connected to Aquarius. And so to me, it's about fulfilling our dreams. The 11th house is hopes and wishes, and that's ruled by Aquarius. So hopefully, if you are somebody who has wanted to be in a committed relationship, this could be the time when that advances. But certainly it can be the flip side of that for people who are feeling very stifled. And because you're a fixed sign, I think your first impulse in those situations is to kind of resist it. And that would be a big mistake, Leo, because if you are with somebody who is not really allowing you to be who you are and trying to get you to be more like them, and yes, it could be some other type of relationship, not necessarily romantic or your significant other. It might be even like a parent, a friend, any of those types of one-on-one relationships. You may come to greater awareness about that, and there may be something that ends or changes within the dynamic of that relationship, and it's for your highest good. So even if it's a change and that feels a little bit scary, definitely do not resist it and fight it, because then you'll just keep the status quo, and where's the growth in that? On the 22nd, the sun goes into Virgo. For you, this is your second house of earned income. The very next day, we have a black moon at 0 degrees of Virgo. Black moon is the second new moon in the month, just like with the blue moon situation with the full moons. However, I assumed that the black moon would be the solar eclipse in Virgo, and all my online research suggests that it's this one. But then I heard another astrologer saying it was the one in September. So I think both of them can qualify, because that one's actually going to also be in Virgo. So let's put it this way. I mean, I think this is a very powerful new moon any way you slice it, because it is the first of 2 new moons in Virgo. So this is in your second house. I do have to say that this is a general reading, because you may very well have some of Libra in your second house. So just putting it out there. And it's at 0 degrees, so we can talk about 0 point, meaning that it's at its absolute infancy. So you're working with pure potential. And this is considered a black moon, which is a more powerful new moon for manifestation. So everything points to new beginnings like that. And the solar eclipse, which is a very powerful new moon, is going to be on September 21st at 29 degrees of Virgo. So this is the bookend, they're bookends. So really, and that to me, when it's 29 degrees, even if it's a new moon, it's almost like more of a full moon, because of that degree is the last degree. So please do, be conscious of this, because you may find that it carries enormous power for um, co-creation. And this is in the area of finances for you. On the 25th, Venus goes into your sign. Well, that's wonderful. And that's the first house. And you may find that you're a magnet. People are very drawn to you at this time. And this can bring a lot of positivity to your life because you come across in a charming way. Your aura is charming. And just, good vibes all the way around. You may feel compelled to kind of change your look or beautify yourself. Not just change it, but make yourself nice, make yourself nice looking as opposed to what you're in. No, I'm just kidding. And also just the sense of maybe like even buying new clothes. The first house can be your appearance and things like that. So, but just in general, anything positive may come your way in the next few weeks. The very next day, Mercury goes out of its shadow, also in your sign. So, like I said, things can fully be unleashed at the end of August. And so we have that window of opportunity there. All right. So that's what I have for you, Leo. I thought it was, basically nothing, but, it's taken up 17 minutes. So that's something. I thought I was only going to be talking for 10 minutes here. So I hope that you're looking forward to your solar return. Some of you obviously are having it in July when I'm recording this. So happy birthday to July, Leo babies. And I hope you have a great month. If you would like a personal reading, I am promoting my package deals especially for astrology, but I have some with tarot as well. My deep dive reading is an hour of natal chart analysis and an hour of transits for the next 12 months. This is really, I think this time of year is a great time, and even if you're listening in July, because it gives you an opportunity to kind of see more clearly what your themes are astrologically, especially if you're listening for the sun in Leo, because your ascendant is likely going to be something completely different. And that is where predictive astrology is usually centered, is on your natal chart versus your solar chart. So it can give you some ideas of like what to expect. And even if Leo is your ascendant, this is general, and you would be surprised at how different the individual natal charts are. And just with the chart analysis, it's really good not just to unlock potential for your talents and looking at patterns, but also validation, because sometimes we want things and no one else seems to see that in us. And the chart can be that. I mean, that happened with me, and it's very empowering, to say the least. Alrighty then. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.